Is it really episode 600? Is it really? Is it really? 600 consecutive weekdays of lesson from old Spanny Pants and the books he reads. Yeah, that's what we're getting. That's what we're getting. That's what we're getting at. That's what we're getting to. That's what we're getting. An old lesson from Spanny Pants and the books he reads. That's it. That's all we got there, folks. That's all you got there, folks. 600 is right, my friend Ryan. 600 is right. I remember when Rocky was born, recording an episode, coming home from the hospital, and my wife and family were at the hospital. Actually, I think Gracie at this point was with her grandparents, and I came home. That was neat. I remember just sitting. I think I might actually have recorded it in the car. I think I recorded it maybe in the car. Oh, but it's pretty cool. I'm very excited about it. You can take note. Dennis, fear not, my friend. Dennis, when you get twitchy, just remember who you really are. Just remember who you truly are, Dennis. You don't need me, friend. You can fly away. Wonder where Dredd is. Wonder where Larry is. Larry, it's been a couple days since Larry's been here. Haven't seen him sign on here. Thanks for the share, Dennis Maney. Yesterday was trick or treat here. It was really neat. It was really neat. Gracie was a witch. She's got to be a witch again at school. So I gotta make sure I pack that up correctly. And then Rocky was a little devil. It was fun. It was very cute. It was very cute. Very, very, very cute. Wonder if Gracie, so if you watched yesterday, you remember that Gracie came down the steps. I wonder if she's gonna come down the steps again. And that was funny, and that was cute. And her chair is right here beside me, in case she does come down. Okay. You guys ready? Dredd, I can't wait all day, buddy. We gotta rock and roll. Okay, hold on. Good morning, my friends, and welcome to AMX 600. This is the Spaniard Show. This is the Spaniard, the world's toughest lifelong learner, and we are on episode number 600. 600 consecutive weekdays of a message based on the books I read. This is cool. We started out daily reading. I probably started out talking like this, not even knowing what I was saying. And here we are, AMX 600. I remember just yesterday dressing up like one of the Sparta characters for AMX 300. So I appreciate your support. I appreciate you tuning in. And let's get right down to brass tacks. Let's dive into the book of the day, The Good Neighbor, The Life and Work of Fred Rogers. This is one of the most valuable books that I've ever read. In today's reading, let's start out with bullying. So regarding bullying, Mr. Rogers was told this, quote, "The advice I got from the grown-ups." Now, we're talking about bullying. How much of a hot topic is bullying in today's society? Super big, super hot topic. And yet I'm reading a book about Mr. Rogers from the early mid-1900s that's teaching me how to process bullying, which I'm going to teach my kids, which you can teach your kids. So regarding bullying, Mr. Rogers says this, quote, "The advice I got from the grown-ups was, just let on you don't care and then nobody will bother you." Except Mr. Rogers said that he did care. He did care. And if you're anything like me, you care. Especially with social media, just ignore. Even the strongest of people, sometimes it can cut to your heart. Mr. Rogers said, or in the book, he said, quote, "He never accepted that pretending not to care would alleviate his loneliness and pain." So what he did is something I love to do. Looking a problem, looking a challenge, looking an opponent right in the eyeballs and saying, no, I'm not just going to walk away. I'm not going to pretend that you're not here. I'm going to look you dead in the eyes. And it says in the book that he used all of this, right? All of this never accepting to pretend that ignoring it would alleviate the pain. He used all of that turmoil, all of that uncomfortability, all of the stress, all the anxiety to develop his natural tendencies. Now, how cool. I say this quote all the time. One of the best gifts you can give anybody is a gift to your honest self. How cool is it for him to develop his natural tendencies, those of caring, belief in love, his great sensitivity? Whenever you're able to look at yourself in the mirror honestly and assess yourself, give yourself a self-audit, and then come to grips with, what am I really good at? What are my gifts? What am I not so good at? Look, when you're a professional fighter, you learn real quick what you're really good at and real quick what you're really not good at. So he was able to do this, not by running away from the fear, not by pretending it doesn't exist, not by pretending the bullies and the harassment didn't exist, but looking at it, doing a bunch of introspection, a bunch of processing, a bunch of talking, a bunch of figuring out, a bunch of creatively outletting himself by way of his puppets and his music, that he was able to, quote, build a, quote, quiet strength. This word, quiet strength. Remember the quiet storm of Kevin Hart? Right? That rang a bell. Yesterday I talked about the idea of extreme ownership in Mr. Rogers, and today I'm talking about the idea of Kevin Hart and Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was able to build a quiet strength. Kevin Hart was able to develop the quiet storm of Kevin Hart that was 7 years of touring, 7 years of playing at every hole in the wall across the U.S. And what do both of these ideas of building this quiet strength, this quiet storm have in common? Let's go back to the success principles, and/or let's go back to extreme ownership. Mr. Rogers and Kevin Hart took 100% responsibility or acted with extreme ownership to make this happen. It's not easy, but by looking at adversity in the eyeballs throughout high school, he was able to develop a strength, an inner strength, in a rapport that enabled him to freely be himself. Segue that into the power of music. So through this not running away from his fears, not running away from a problem, not running away from the bullying, he was able to look at his abilities, both internal and external. He was very good at music. Quote, the almost instinctive ability to connect with music and to express his feelings through the piano were seminal to the development of Fred's talents. Listen, the expression of yourself in one way or another, be it by way of writing, be it by way of singing, be it by way of training, be it by way of reading, be it by way of speaking, be it by way of anything, singing, the expression of yourself in one way or another is crucial to being your honest self. And Mr. Rogers was able to do just that by way of the piano, by way of music, by way of puppeteering, by way of creativity. And it also gave him confidence. Look, you want to feel good about yourself, you've got to do something. You've got to create some sort of small victory of which you can build upon. Mr. Rogers understood through this introspection, hey, I'm very sensitive. Hey, I love kindness. I want to help other people. I'm really good at music. So that gave him confidence little by little by little, and he was able to build upon that. And also reading this book, I may have mentioned it already, but reading about Mr. Rogers really reminds me of Stoic philosophy, turning adversity into opportunity. Some great books by Ryan Holiday about Stoic philosophy, about this idea, turning adversity into opportunity. So Mr. Rogers kind of had it together in high school, feeling pretty good about himself. Then he went on to college and it was not so good. Went to a place that wasn't really fitting for him, and he experienced bad stuff again early on in college. But his ability to use this adversity for good, or his advantage, was key and crucial to his life. In the book it says, quote, he was almost always able to take, this is such a deep, profound statement. He was almost always able to take his feeling into a place of deep introspection and emerge with a fresh and often brilliant new direction. So not putting your feelings aside, not pretending they don't exist, but rather taking his feelings into a deep place of introspection, thinking about yourself, thinking about how you feel, almost being empathetic with yourself. Having these conversations and emerging with a fresh and often brilliant new direction. Quote, the essential is to be found in depth and introspection, in searching for meaning, not just in searching for meaning. I want to throw in a must-read here, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Back to Mr. Rogers. The essential is to be found in depth and introspection, in searching for meaning, and then, with that meaning, then finding the truth that comes from that meaning, your truth. I got a comment/compliment on social media from someone I haven't talked to in 20 years who commended me for my truth. And that's one of the greatest, coolest compliments that I could ever get. And all I do is simply speak my truth. And what I'm encouraging you to do is to introspect, to figure out your abilities, to look at your adversities, to come through on the other side with a search for meaning and then finding the truth that comes from that meaning, which is your truth. Dred and I have a regular outlet for each other, mostly me to him, where we talk, we figure out, we try, we fail, we assess, we move forward. It's a never-ending process. It's a daily cleansing. It's a daily clearing. It's a daily restructuring. But with that mindset of, I will move forward. I will find my best self. I will find my honest self. And I encourage you, process that stuff. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Find meaning and then find direction with that meaning. Look, everything's a lesson. Everything's a lesson. Let's learn from it. Hope you enjoyed AMX 600, charliespaniard.com, at Charlie Spaniard on social media. Read a book, folks. There's Dredster. Preach, Spaniard, preach. Oh my. I was just saying some funny stuff in my head. Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boyski. Don't you screw up on me. Pew, pew. AMX 600 today, Dred. Dred, I sent you like a bunch of text messages yesterday. Speaking of conversing, I sent you a bunch of text messages yesterday, Dred, and I don't think I got a response, man. Every time I say that, right? So I'm like, Dred, why didn't you respond to me? And I was serious. But then as I was saying it, I remember a lesson I got from Jack Canfield in his book, The Success Principles. It says, instead of saying, why didn't you call back? How about saying, I hope everything's okay. And as I was busting his chops for not getting back to me, I thought, I hope everything's okay. So that was a lesson to me that next time I want to bust his chops, shut up and make sure everything's okay first. So, Dred, I hope everything's okay. And I look forward to talking today. And that's a good example of real-time learning there. Thanks, Larry. Maybe we'll be big enough by episode 1000 to have a party. That'd be cool. We could have like a Central PA party. I come back here to Holdiesburg. We can have a party. What do you say there? Can anyone do some quick math and figure out what day AMX 1000 will be on? Weekdays. 400 weekdays from now. Any idea? That's a fun assignment. No worries, Dred. I'm just glad everything's okay, my friend. Killer one at the gym this morning. It was a tough one. Oh, but fear not, my friends. It'll all be put out in today's Spaniard Weekly workouts. We'll do that for a couple more weeks. See if that catches on. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate your help. Dred, can you give me a confirmation real quick? Mr. Rogers' life, possessive adjective. Mr. Rogers' life. Is it ROGERS apostrophe or ERS apostrophe S? So Mr. Rogers' life. Dred, let me know if you can, buddy. Finally find you and I collide. Do 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 do. Finally find you and I collide. What am I? I laugh at this every time. Because all honesty, there's only a handful of us watching. So whatever. But my wife delicately said to me one time, I hope people can take you seriously, like as a serious speaker or as a serious professional person, because of, well, what made me think of it is singing How We Days Collide. But she was trying to so delicately saying, I just hope people will take you seriously, Charlie. That when I was singing that, I heard her words ring in my ears. But I guess, if they don't take me seriously, whatever. I don't want to say it. Yeah, I don't care. So Dread, if you're still there, let me know about the Mr. Rogers possessive adjective. Otherwise, folks, quick reminder. Ooh, I gotta get to work. I have a lot of work to do on this half day of work today. Spaniard's Weekly Workouts comes out this afternoon. What I learned this week comes out tomorrow morning. That's it, my friends. Rod Woodson interview came out yesterday. That was pretty fun. Larry, I think you'll enjoy that one. Dennis, maybe, if you're Western enough for that one. But that's pretty cool. So I'll be posting the links for that. And that's it, folks. Have a great Friday. See ya Monday.